Hey everyone, welcome back. I got some Depop orders last night, so I thought I'd bring y'all along for the ride. I'm gonna try to make it neat and pretty, but honestly, I make a mess out of everything that I do. In every sense, I'm a pretty clumsy person with no sense of keeping things organized when working on a project. I'm a cosplayer also, and whenever I do a cosplay project or even just writing for my job, everything turns into a mess. Though I will say the last time I built a Lego set, I was very organized and was able to build it no problems at all. So anyway, I'm going to try because I know a lot of people watch stationery videos, do a study thing with me because it's very neat and orderly and soothing. I don't know if I can make that kind of content, but we're going to see. So I have 3 orders to pack up today: a Yuto Love or Take mild version, a Hongseok mixed or pre-order card, and the last of my Going 17 magazine cards. It's a Sockman whiteback version. And yes, it's only 3 orders, but my packing process is very involved, to say the least, because I like to make my packaging look really nice for card orders. Part of why I love photo card collecting so much is kind of like the dopamine smack to the forehead of receiving mail, especially when it's a little bit more personal. And most photo card sellers and traders handwrite notes, so there's a small touch of humanity to the mail, like way more than receiving retail therapy packages or, God forbid, bills in the mail. I'm, of course, always excited to receive boy mail because it's a part of my collection. I'm excited to get a new addition to my collection, but there's even more excitement for seeing how a seller packaged something up. And it's also a huge bonus if the person I bought from makes the packaging really pretty. So I wanted to do the same and give someone the same joy I get when opening boy card mail. And if I happen to be selling someone's Holy Grail card, or it's the last card in a collection, or it just happens to be one that they really, really, really like, I want to make that experience just a little bit more special any way that I can. And unfortunately, because I want to craft a curated experience or whatever, I kind of go overboard. My packaging, all the envelopes, washi tape, little decorative papers and stickers, and even mailing stamps. Sometimes I like to fit within certain themes and match an aesthetic. My whole brand on all my K-pop stuff is it's wizard themed. I know it's weird and niche, and you can even tell on my YouTube stuff that it's a wizard thing. And you grow up loving fantasy and you spend your entire not childhood, but adulthood dressing up and going to Renaissance fairs, and suddenly it's a huge facet of your personality. And it's not just adulthood, it definitely was childhood as well. This is all influenced by the shit I was into when I was a kid. So did anyone else imprint on the Book of Wizardry, Wizardology, Dragonology, or the Book of Wizardcraft when they were a kid? Honestly, if it was a book about magic and it was available at the Scholastic Book Fair, I wanted it. And a book of my favorite pieces of media outside of K-pop are epic fantasies like Lord of the Rings. I love to watch my friends play Dragon Age. I still have to play Dragon Age myself, but whatever. I love watching terrible Skyrim videos. That's just the genre that I really, really, really like. So it kind of influences my aesthetic tastes a whole lot. So anyway, that is all to say that when I saw a photo of Shinwon, who, if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, he is my alt bias, and he was in a stupid little children's wizard costume at Idol Radio. It was fucking over from that point on. I saw it and I was like, that is brand. That was personal. That was for me. And I lost my shit for approximately 3 business days about it. And so because of that, now all of my K-pop related social media handles have to do with wizards and boys. So that is all to say that my packaging and freebies have a fantasy theme. But I made my Depop username before I finally got up off my ass and tried to sell all my extra black haul photo cards. So my username there doesn't reflect this at all. So I try to write in all my notes the username I use on Twitter and Instagram for selling and trading because that does have a wizard theme. But even then, most K-pop sellers have the nice and cute and pastel themes to their goods. And then here I am with like a fucking heraldic beast and alchemical symbol stickers on my stuff. And like, even the book plate that I'm using has a gnome on it. These were book plates that my mom gave me a really long time ago that she had when she was a teenager to put in her books to mark that it's part of her own personal library. And she never ended up using all of them, so I have like 2 boxes of them that she never used up that I use. I don't really put them in my own books, honestly, because I'm nervous about like, well, what if I get rid of them one day? But I forget that like people like when they buy books secondhand to see what the past ownership of those books looked like. Anyway, that's besides the point. Going back to the whole like wizard theme, you'll see it in a little bit after I'm done like washi taping Honksock down. A lot of my freebies are of idols wearing witch and wizard hats at fan signs that happened in October's past. I know the idols, especially the ones who are grown men, hate to put on the stupid headbands and hats, but I like it and I miss it and I need new photos because I am barely hanging on. I need the pandemic to be up, get those idols back in silly little hats for my dopamine and serotonin receptors. I need it. I also here are the freebies, there they are, but you'll also see that some of them are non-wizard hat freebies because there's only so many photos of wizards in idol hats, so I've tried to expand it as well to like cowboy hats and when boys hold swords and when they have like little crowns on their heads. I try to keep it like to my and there's that Shinwan image I was talking about. That's the Shinwan wizard Shinwan image that I love. So if you happen to find photos of idols in witch or wizard hats, please send them my way, both for my mental health and also for the sake of my Depop business. So I used to have nice die cut wallet size glossy freebie cards with curved edges, but I ran out of them. I wish I had the foresight to order more freebie prints in time for when I listed all my Love or Take photo cards and Going magazine cards. But alas, I was really lazy. I got them printed on photolab.com, and they were far more cost effective than getting wallet prints at CVS. I know that CVS, like you can just go to your local CVS and like it's easy and you can pick it up same day. But at Nations Photo Lab, it's like $2.60, I think, for a page of 8 die cuts, which sounds like a lot, but they are also constantly having sales, unlike CVS, which I don't think they have any sort of photo sales. Them being die cut also looks far more professional and is less work than cutting out 30 sheets of wallet prints at CVS, which when I did this recently, like, yes, I was able to put in an order at CVS and then was able to go pick it up 15 minutes later after I put in the order, but it took me like an hour or something to cut all of the prints back out, but whatever. Anyway, back to the very fascinating world of my Depop packaging. A lot of the times I do celestial and space theme stuff because I'm an astrology gay, and sometimes it's more like dark academia, and other times it's like Renaissance-y, medieval-y theme, like you just saw with the Hongsok PC pack up that I was doing. When I first started selling, I used these beautiful handmade envelopes from a seller on Etsy, and the interior lining was like a celestial map. Like very clearly these were hand folded. It was like a really high quality, like really nice sturdy paper to the outside of the envelope, and it was the only set they had left, and which like really sucked. And I wanted to continue buying from small business stationery sellers because I also really like those envelopes. But the disparity between cost of materials versus what I was selling the photo cards for was just simply too big to be sustainable to me. And especially knowing most of the materials were just going into the trash when a person got their goods in the mail. I don't know how many people hoard nice bits of paper and packaging just in case, like I do, but I don't think it's that many. So yeah, this is another like little touch I do for just to really drive home that fucking fantasy theme that I have going on, where I write magic inside on the envelope. I think it's cute. I don't know if it confuses other people, but I think it's a nice little touch. Anyway, now I just buy blank cards and envelopes from Michael's typically, and I try to package in a way that buyers can reuse the cards at least instead of the envelopes. But a lot of the time I'm already writing directly on the cards before I can remember. I mean, one could slap a post-it note over what I wrote and reuse it, but I don't think many people do that. I should start leaving a line in my notes saying, like, please consider reusing this card and materials for another package or recycle them. But that's, I really gotta start getting into, like, the rhythm of doing that just as, like, a nice little reminder. So, more material talk. Most of my top loaders come from Mercari orders and other Depop purchases, but there are periods of time where I sell more than I'm buying, and I have to go out and get more top loaders and penny sleeves. If you're a seller or a trader or just want to stick a card in an eat-a bag or something, please purchase collecting materials like top loaders, penny sleeves, Mylar bags and boards, 9 pocket pages from your local comic shop or hobby shop. Not Hobby Lobby and not Amazon, just the local mom and pop place. Comic book stores are struggling on a good day, and especially now in a pandemic. I know this firsthand because I used to work at a comic book shop, and whenever I pop into my local shop now, there's almost never anyone in there besides the owner. And it's really sad to see just how badly the pandemic has hit comic shops. So call ahead, see what your local shop has in stock, and buy from them. I say call ahead not only to reduce the amount of public places you go to in a pandemic, but also it's been harder to get some of these materials right now. Most of the flat sheets of archival grade plastic are going into making PPE for medical professionals, which is definitely more important than being used in collection protective goods. So I know it seems easier to buy it from Amazon, but like and honestly, Amazon like marks up the prices of the top loaders, and also sellers on Etsy are also really marking up the cost of top loaders. Top loaders should never be more than $5 for a pack of 25. Never. I saw a pack of top loaders that were going for like $12 for 25 of them. That is insane. Do not spend that money because of convenience of online stores, unless like you live in a rural area and you don't have a comic book store to go to or a local hobby shop to go to. But don't spend more than $5 on a pack of 25 pack of top loaders. Just don't do it. Okay, so as for my other materials, most of them are from stationery and journaling supply sellers on Etsy. There are a bunch of Etsy sellers who clearly bulk wholesale order stationery and import it in from East Asia, which is not a bad thing at all. I don't want that to seem like it's a bad thing for them to be doing. It's a smart business move. So a lot of my paper, stickers, and decorative papers are from a seller on Etsy who imports stuff in from Chinese stationery companies and sells it for a really reasonable cost. Like, I think I recently put in a bulk order for stuff, and I think I got somewhere around at least 300 different stickers and like sheets of paper and like fun little bits and bobs for like $35. Anyway, there are also sellers whose entire business is putting together like themed journaling, scrapbooking, and stationery ephemera kits. I got a space themed one recently that is pages from like old astronomy textbooks and National Geographic magazine clippings. They're really nice, so I'm going to wait to use them for when I make card binder fillers or when I send friends gifts in the mail. So because like someone curating that is a little bit more expensive than just me doing that myself, if that makes any sense. So I'm saving those ones for special occasions. So a lot of independent artists make washi tapes, and I much prefer buying a really unique washi tape versus bulk buying them from Michael's or something. That's not to say I don't do that too, because all those pastel washi tapes in my second dispenser are from Michael's, but everything in balance, you know? I have a couple of K-pop specific washi tapes, like one's from Fan Site Season's Greetings. I have 2 rolls of a Yuto washi tape from his fan site Emergency, and then one of Shinwon from his fan site Gnosis, I think. I can't remember if it's Gnosis or Snow Romance, but it's one of them. The other K-pop one I have is a new washi tape from Josshere. If you're a terminally online carrot, you'll probably recognize their art and stationery goods. They are a really talented artist making the cutest 17 goods. Whenever I receive 17 photo cards and the seller uses Josshere washi tape, I always keep the strips of it because one, it's cute, and two, I can reuse it for something else. And most of the designs I received the washi tape of, Josshere doesn't make them anymore. But they did recently have a product drop in February, so I snagged the semicolon washi tape mailing stamp design roll, a couple stickers, and the Horanghei like Tiger Hoshi stamp, which is super duper cute. You'll see those a little later on in the video when I package up the Yuto photo card. So whenever I get orders for photo cards of boys who happen to be my boys, I do try to go above and beyond and tailor packaging and freebies and give a couple extra freebies of Shinwon or Yuto or Joshua or Hoshi or Wanu, or throw a sticker in there I know I won't get around to using. Some washi tape strips of boy photos, I really do the works, the whole 9 yards. I also have a really cool washi tape that's like a little creatures in the Hieronymus Bosch painting, the Garden of Earthly Delights, that I don't use very often when packaging Depop orders because I don't know if that's going to hit right. I don't super know how big the overlap is on photo card collectors for K-pop and early 16th century religious Netherlandish paintings is, so I keep that one to myself for the most part. Okay. So now that I've rambled on far too long about packaging things, let's get into like business side of photo card selling and trading. I do this often enough now that I don't know if I actually have to write this off on my taxes. I should ask my accountant that, but I feel insane being like, I sell photo cards of Korean idols. Do I need to tell the IRS this? Anyway, so I pretty much only sell cards, and I only really do it via Depop. I really like selling on Depop because the interface is obviously designed for independent sellers. It's so much easier to keep track of what your listings are, the orders that you get, conversations, and shipments, and it shows listings as sold when an item sells. It immediately shows that an item is unavailable, it removes it from searches, and contributes to showing buyers the seller's reliability. Excuse me, I'm a really scatterbrained person, so having this structure already built in appeals to me far more than using Twitter or Instagram for photo card selling and trading. I lose track of shit with too much ease, but Depop keeps me organized and on top of shit. I tried to do stuff primarily on Twitter for a while, but I ultimately hated it. Twitter's interface is obviously not designed with businesses in mind, and I'd make a tweet about a card I was selling, and then someone would DM me about it. No problem. It's totally fine. Then I'd quote retweet the original tweet about it, saying that it's no longer available. But someone a day later would DM asking about the availability still. And also trying to keep listings organized in threads was impossible if you deleted a tweet after the card is sold. It was just too much of a headache. So I pretty much just use that Twitter now to join group orders for things. Meanwhile, my selling trading Instagram pretty much only exists so I can show proofs and again join group orders. Another reason I prefer Depop for selling cards is by listing and purchasing through Depop, both the buyer and seller get protection and insurance if something were to go wrong. Yes, Depop does take a very small percentage from any sale, which is basically a listing fee, but that goes back into protecting your ass if anything happens. I don't mind taking the L on a sale if it means insurance. Additionally, buying through Depop makes it easier to issue refunds, and also it's slightly more credible at issuing them if that makes any sense. Ultimately, I swear to God I don't work for Depop or have any sort of affiliation with them. But Depop is ultimately a much more approachable and accessible eBay designed with ease of use and prioritizing buyer and seller protection. If you've ever tried to listing on eBay, it takes forever to do. With Depop, it takes me less than 10 minutes to list 20 items. That would take me 2 hours to do on eBay. So I'm going to get a little ranty about the photo card selling trading culture on Depop. I'm so sorry if you've heard me say this before because my friends are familiar with this because I do bitch about it fairly frequently on Twitter, and I'm really sorry if this comes off in any capacity. However, A lot of photocard and K-pop goods sellers and traders like come from Instagram and expect Depop to work the same way, or they probably came to Depop just to have another place to list items on to get more potential buyers or traders, which for the record is against Depop policy, I think. You're not allowed to list items already listed on Depop elsewhere. Regardless, Instagram sellers and traders molded Instagram to work for them. The culture of DMing to claim, listing a bunch of PCs in the same post, sending PayPal.me links or Venmo requests in DMs, and providing proofs was born out of Instagram and honestly Twitter too, not being a platform for commerce. There was no reason for the same methods of Instagram photo card selling / trading to exist on Depop. Depop is again designed for easy commerce. The process of selling and buying on Depop removes like 7 steps needed to buy a card from an Instagram seller, all without needing to have a private conversation. For example, I list each card individually with a little auto buy on in the listing like the platform intends you to do. The platform intends you to buy listings. It definitely makes my life easier. I don't have to deal with direct messages asking if cards are still available, which ones they want, and then have a whole conversation linking to my PayPal, which Depop already uses. That is the method of transaction that they use, or Venmo, and then ask buyers for their addresses. By buying directly through Depop, I get all that information immediately when someone taps on buy. Also, it's far more secure than sending your address and information related to money via private messages on literally any platform because Depop goes through PayPal. PayPal has its own set of issues, but by and large, it is a secure and safe way to send and receive money. This is also why I don't seek out trading for the most part, both on Instagram and on Depop. I don't really want to have a conversation. I think this largely stems from the fact that I'm from the Northeast and we're not exactly known for being the most sunny small talk conversationalists. This is not to say I'm rude when someone messages me on Depop. I'm just not a fucking asshole. I'm still pleasant. It's just that I would really rather not be having a conversation at all. Another reason I don't trade often, if at all, is because I am a goblin hoarder and just want to keep everything I get in album pulls, barring duplicates, of course, versus trading it out for something I really want. It's more work for me to see if I have something the trader wants and is willing to trade something. And also, willing to trade only listings are the bane of my existence for this reason, because money can be exchanged for goods and services. I pay you for the card, and you can then use that money to buy the card you want. That's how capitalism unfortunately works. Okay, back at it. So to reiterate, people coming from Instagram onto the Depop platform to listings for visibility and don't use the interface how it's designed to be used. For example, I wanted to buy a Shinwan card off of a seller on Depop. The listing had a bunch of cards in the photo, so I had to DM to claim, just like on Instagram. So I sent the seller a polite, "Hey there, is the Shinwan PC still available?" And I got back a snarky response of, "Yes, but please message me on my Insta or Twitter to claim." If you're going to list things on Depop and then make me go off platform to talk to you on Instagram instead of Depop DMs, just stay on Instagram to sell and trade. Don't go through the extra work of coming to Depop if you're not going to effectively use the platform. It drives me bonkers. Not only is it, yet again, a bunch of extra steps that don't need to be taken, it's also fully against Depop policy to do this. If I wanted to be buying and trading cards on Instagram, I would be on Instagram, not on Depop. And another example from this is just from this morning. I wanted to buy a Joshua card off of someone, and because the seller didn't want the Depop service fee to be taken out of their sale, they had to ask me for PayPal, and because PayPal was mentioned in private messages, I got a warning from Depop about purchasing listings off platform. This affects not just the sellers, but the buyers as well, and puts both buyer and seller at risk for suspension. And frankly, I'm glad Depop is cracking down on this way more than they were months prior, because I am so tired of listings with like 20 cards all on a grid, all of which are going for different prices, and then I have to look at the availability in the description with emojis, direct message someone, only to have them be like, "LMAO, can we move this to Insta / what's your Venmo?" Yes, it's slightly more work to list cards individually, but it saves you from juggling a bunch of different conversations. Literally, you are setting it and forgetting it until you get an email from Depop saying that you sold an item. If you're writing "don't buy listing" DM first because you don't want to take the 60-cent loss, just sell elsewhere. If a couple of cents and God forbid $1 is too much for you to lose as a seller, choose somewhere else to sell because the Depop interface doesn't fit with your selling style, and it's okay to admit that. Please just stick to Instagram if this is how you're going to misuse a platform that is designed for easy commerce. I've honestly now just been doing most of my K-pop goods shopping on Nyokio and Bai because of how frustrating the buying process is on Depop. Like, I'm willing to shell out the buying fees per item and then pay international shipping costs on a shopping service website for Mercari than it is to deal with sellers and traders on Depop. That's just how frustrating the photo card on market on Depop is to me as a buyer, not even as a seller, as a buyer. So I guess in summary, if you plan on using Depop as an extra place to market the cards you're selling on your Instagram, then just stay on Instagram and throw a couple more hashtags on there. If I wanted to be buying cards from Instagram, I would already be on Instagram. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too mean or anything, and I'm thankful if you sat through that. Let me know, like, honestly, I do want to know this, but let me know what your thoughts are on the culture of the K-pop corner of Depop. Do you agree with me? Do you not disagree with me? Are you frustrated? Do you not give a shit? Is this just a me only issue? I'm very curious to know. So now that I'm finishing up the last of my orders, do I have to put this much effort into a card someone is probably going to throw away? No, but I like doing it and I enjoy the process. Getting an order for me is less, oh shit, I made a sale, and more, ooh, I gotta break out my stationery caboodle. And yes, I'm a grown adult with a branded caboodle. And yes, I want another one for non-stationary items. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. And if you want to see more packing with me videos, please let me know. I promise I'll talk about literally anything more exciting than this stuff. Thanks again. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.